What's good, y'all? It's Alex Camuno here, and I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the 4 methods of income generation and where you need to be focusing your efforts if you want to reach financial freedom. Let's get into today's video. So one thing that most people are not actually aware of is that they're generating most of, if not all of their income in a certain quadrant. The reason the method that you're generating a majority of your income from is actually important to you is because the way you generate your income is going to dictate how your life is really going to end up. So like I said, I want to talk about where you need to be focusing most of your efforts if you want to reach financial freedom. So this classification of how you're generating your income was actually introduced by Robert Kiyosaki, which is the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. He talked about this in his book, CASHFLOW QUADRANT. The 4 quadrants of income generation are employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. So what you need to know about all 4 of these quadrants is that each of them approaches their life differently, how they look at the relationship between time and money, and the response to fear, what they seek out of life. Each of those things are different for each of these players. So let's start with the employee, right? So this is most people, of course. For this, we're gonna say an employee is someone that has a job, right? Whether you're the janitor or the CEO, you have a job. It don't matter what you're doing, a job is a job. You're still in 9-to-5 slavery. Now, obviously, when you have a job, what you're doing essentially is you're trading in your time for money, right? You go sit in a desk, you go, be a waiter, whatever you're doing, you're giving a business or a company your time and they're paying you for that.
I hate it here.
Now, one of the core values of an employee is that you're seeking job security. Having that security is almost more important than even having that money because you're taken care of. You get very comfortable with where you are because no matter what, at least I know I'll have this paycheck coming in every 2 weeks. An employee's response to fear or not having money is going out and finding a job. They seek that contractual agreement. Now, yes, although you're taken care of as an employee and someone else is, watching over you and giving you your pacifier, W-2 income is the worst income that you can actually get because you are essentially going to be a partner with the government when it's time to pay taxes. They don't even give you the chance to pay your taxes. They'll just take it straight from you. If you make a lot of money in this bracket, then you will pay a lot of money to Uncle Sam. Now, the next quadrant, the S quadrant, is the self-employed quadrant. Now, self-employed people essentially own a job, right? So these are people like real estate agents, plumbers, electricians, dentists, those kind of people. They own a job. Now, these are the type of people that like to, be their own boss and be in control of how much they're going to make, right? Because for them, they look at it as the more I work, the more I can make. Financial security is them knowing, hey, I can go out and I can, make sales, or I can, go get more clients or do whatever I can in my control and get more money, as opposed to an employee who is not in control of their income, no matter how well or how bad they do. Their income is set. So for them, their response to, fear of not having money is to go out and hustle and make more money. The thing about being self-employed though, is that you are essentially the system. So what I mean by that is that you do not outsource anything to anyone else, right? You do not let anyone else into the process of you earning income, right? So you will do everything yourself. You are a DIY expert. I mean, think of a dentist. Your dentist is either a solo practitioner, meaning they own their own practice, right? They have their own dental practice, or they're an associate at someone else's dental practice, meaning they work for someone else. But when you go to the dentist and you get, your teeth cleaned or your teeth worked on, that dentist is only making money whenever they're in that appointment and they're doing something. So as soon as they go on vacation, the money goes on vacation as well. One of the things about being in this S quadrant is that the more successful you become, the harder you're going to work, right? Because as you become more successful, you're going to have more responsibilities because you are a DIY expert and you insist on doing everything yourself. You do not outsource anything to anyone else. You don't have a staff, you do everything yourself, which is actually worse than even the employee, because at least as an employee, if you were hired to do the labor, they don't expect you to do the admin and the marketing as well. And don't even get me started on the taxes. The taxes are bad as an employee, but as a self-employed person, you are paying essentially double taxes because you have to pay taxes as the employer because you're your own boss, and you have to pay taxes as the employee because you are the employee as well that's receiving income, because you receive business income and your own, self-employed income. So you're paying double taxes.
Wouldn't let that shit happen to me though.
Now let's look at the B quadrant, right? The business owner quadrant. Now, when you are a business owner, you own a system in which people are working for you now. As a business owner, leverage is the name of the game. Leveraging OPT, which is other people's time, leveraging OPE, which is other people's experience, and leveraging OPX, which is other people's expertise. A true business owner knows that they need to surround themselves with people that are smarter than them in those areas where they lack, right? As opposed to a S quadrant person or the self-employed person that wants to do everything themselves. The B knows that they need to outsource certain things in order to become successful, right? So there's a difference between the B and the S business. They're both businesses, but there's a much different mentality and core to how each operate. A true business owner mentality is to look at the systems of everything and to have a system in place for everything. So when you are an employee, you are a part of a B system, right? A great B knows that they need to surround themselves with great E's, right? People that are gonna work hard. Great S's, people that are experts in their field like lawyers, right? And great I's too, which we're gonna get to here in a minute. I mean, think about that dentist example again. You can be that solo practitioner and is the only dentist in the practice, or you can have your dental practice and associates. So when you see a certain dentist office, they'll say such and such, comma, DDS, and associates. So that means there are other dentists that are working for the main dentist that owns the practice, right? So the main dentist now becomes a B, and everyone else that's working in the practice is becoming an E, right? They are essentially becoming either W-2 or they might be 1099 employees. But a dentist that's a B will be leveraging OPT, OPE, and OPX, right? Because they know that, hey, regardless of whether I'm here, I have put systems in place for other dentists to do the work. I have admin here to handle all the, upfront stuff. And I have a marketing team to get me more business as well. So they don't even need to be in their own business anymore. They can go on vacation and still make money because there are systems in place that other people are operating without them, right? And that's the beauty of the B quadrant, is that you leverage other people so that you can have financial freedom. As a B, you should be focusing on the systems that are going to give you financial freedom. The systems is the most important thing, not the product or the labor. I mean, think of McDonald's, right? If I ask most people, can you make a better burger than McDonald's? Most people can say, yes, I can make a better burger than McDonald's. I mean, it's not that hard. But if I say, can you create a better system than McDonald's system? Then the answer is no, you can't. Millions of people can create a better burger or product than McDonald's, but McDonald's has the system that has served millions of burgers. I mean, let's really think about it and break down McDonald's system. You see the rancher that raised the cows, the truck that delivers the beef, the bakery that bakes the buns, the fries that taste the same wherever you go, the Ronald McDonald ads on your TV. And even the angry employee that's telling you that the ice cream machine is broken. No matter what McDonald's you go to, you know exactly what you're going to be getting. Now, whether the burger tastes good or not, you can go debate that with your mama. That's neither here nor there. You know what you're going to be getting. And the best thing about the B quadrant is that as opposed to the S quadrant, the more successful you become, the less you work. So that's where you need to be focusing your time and energy on, is in the B quadrant. Now, the last quadrant that we're going to talk about is the I quadrant, the investor, right? As an investor, you own assets or investments. So that means money is working for you, as opposed to on the left side of the quadrant where you are working for money. So on the right side, what we see is that you don't have to trade in your time for money when you're operating on the right side of this quadrant. In the cash flow quadrant book, Robert Kiyosaki calls the I quadrant the playground of the rich, because this is where money is converted into wealth. This is where you come and put your money from the other quadrants here to turn it into wealth for you. Everybody needs to be operating in this quadrant to some capacity. Even if it's not your primary income source, you need to be here for some capacity. And no, your 401k is not the I quadrant. A 401k is just a savings account that you're hoping will have a certain amount so that you will be, quote unquote, good in retirement. The B in the I quadrant is the best income to have in regards to taxes as well, because obviously business owners pay a lot less in taxes than, employees and self-employed people. We know this. We see companies like Amazon and Netflix and GE not paying any taxes. The people that scream about that don't realize that, you're operating in a different quadrant than these people over here. They're operating in quadrants, which pretty much makes them freaking, partners with the government. You're literally business partners with Uncle Sam when you're over here. On the right side, the government will give you tax breaks because obviously as a business owner, you are creating employees. These employees will be able to get taxed as W-2 or 1099. So the government gives business owners and investors tax breaks so that they can keep their businesses in this country, so they have money to expand and add more employees. So now the government can tax those employees as W-2 income. There's a reason they legally don't pay any taxes. It's the quadrant that they're operating in. The reason this is important is because you need to be aware of what quadrant you're operating in and what it's leading to. The left side of the quadrant is leading you to 9-to-5 slavery for the rest of your life. Even if you're in the S quadrant, that is still trading your time for money, which is slavery. The right side of the quadrant is where you get financial freedom, right? Because now you are not trading your time for money. That is the key. So you need to be watching out which quadrant you are working hard in. If you are working hard in the left side of the quadrant, you will find yourself getting more and more trapped into that rat race. There's nothing wrong with making money on the left side of the quadrant when you're starting out, but you need to make sure that you are moving into the right side and putting money into businesses and investments, right? Either having your own business or putting money in the stock market, whatever it is, you need to be making sure that you are leveraging, right? Either putting other people's time to work, or you are putting your money to work. You're leveraging your money, you're putting it out there and making it work for you to go bring back more money. One last thing I want to leave y'all with is that y'all need to understand that it is not your boss's job to make you wealthy. A lot of people think it's their employer's job to pay them, a certain amount of money, whatever the case may be. No. Think about it. Your employer is operating in the B quadrant. Their job is to create a system in which you're a part of and pay you for trading in your time for money. So their job is to pay you a paycheck. It's not to make you wealthy. It is your job to make yourself wealthy. And you can only do that if you're on the right side of this quadrant and making money as a business owner or an investor. I mean, think about it. Even if you make $100,000 a year as an employee, obviously the business is making 3 times of that off of you alone to be able to justify paying you that, right? They can easily sedate you by paying you that salary so that you get comfortable and you don't have any ideas of trying to leave. It's all a part of the system and the quadrants. Understand that. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope y'all gained something of value from this. Let me know in the comments below, what quadrant are you in and what quadrant do you want to get into? Y'all be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. The YouTube algorithm needs to know that this is good content. I work hard on these videos and that's all I ask for, just a thumbs up, man. Anyways, that's it for this video. I'll see y'all in the next one.